Greetings, and this is a classic Macintosh thing, or at least for now, just the front bezel of a classic Macintosh thing. So the two Macintosh Classics that I bought from this weird recycling centre thing in Harrogate, yeah, one of them was a lot worse for wear, just... like, that's steel. And it just falls apart, and it's all because of this stupid battery. Oh, that is disgusting. So here's the bucket of the case just chilling in my sink. There's loads of corrosion on there. It was so hard to get the case off. So submerged in soapy water, giving it a scrub every now and then. Because this is what it was stuck to. Just this horrible green gunge. It's eating the legs away. It's eating capacitors away. Even the bottom of the board is gone. And then if we go here, we've got the analog board, the high voltage board. That's got corrosion on it as well. And then we've got the broken CRT. I still don't know how that's happened. It must have had some force against it. And then here is the salvaged floppy disk unit out of that Mac. It seems fine, but this is the great thing. This is an 80 megabyte SCSI drive. These machines usually came with 40, so someone's upgraded this at great cost. Here's the RAM board out of the better machine, and then the unbranded RAM board out of the other one. I've never seen this type of RAM board before. It's weird. So here's the logic board of the better machine. Battery didn't leak, didn't explode, and other than some dust, you know, it doesn't look like the caps have corroded that much of the board. Just needs a bit of a clean, really. So once the isopropyl alcohol arrives, I'll just give it a dunk in that and a blow dry. Now, the case the better of the two computers came in was awful. There's marker pen all over it. It's been etched in the top of the name of the school, and the entire thing is just a bit of a mess. Day 2, and it's time to prep the motherboard for some work. Just blowing the dust off with a cold hairdryer first. You can see all the dust, even in this video, just how much of it sprays off. And of course, my isopropyl alcohol got delivered, so time to give the motherboard a bit of a scrub. There was just so much grime all over the place, but even after this, had to put it in the sink and then use the hairdryer on a warm setting to dry it off as best as I could. There was just so much dirt, it just needed a wash. So, to decap everything, I actually used the wiggle method from Adrian's Digital Basement. You just wiggle the capacitor back and forth until the legs break. And that's what I did on the 1 microfarad C3 part of the audio circuit, and it came off brilliantly. Apply some flux paste to the pads just to get rid of what remains of the legs. And then wick it up with a little bit more flux. I'm just using as much flux as humanely possible, if I'm honest. And honestly, they all came up great, especially after a little bit of a rub with isopropyl alcohol. You can tell which capacitors leaked by which pads didn't completely fill up with solder because they had corroded. So in reality, not many capacitors leaked. So that was quite productive. And now to wait for the replacement capacitors to arrive. Well, the capacitors arrived and I forgot to record myself, but here they are. TAJ series from AVX. Just know that it took an embarrassingly long amount of time with the tools I had at my disposal. But once everything was done, I think it came out great, especially after another clean in isopropyl alcohol. Just look at that board. So I thought I'd reassemble the computer and give it its first proper test. And, okay, that's scary. Well, thankfully overnight, my pleas of help were answered on both Reddit and 68kmla.org, and it turns out that the power supply board also has really bad caps because look at that. So it wasn't supplying enough power, and the sound chip controls the reset lines when it detects that it isn't getting enough power, hence the clicking. Time for some good news though. This morning, aka day 5, the same seller that sold me the two classic Macs, which were sold as non-working by the way, was selling a confirmed working Apple design keyboard for only £29 with free postage. Yeah, of course I'm getting that. Damn. So we head into day 5 proper, and there I am with some quite heavy duty home wiring cable and a flat blade screwdriver that isn't magnetic that I got from my parents' house, just testing the continuity there between the end of the screwdriver and the ground lug to make sure I've got a good connection, and in I went to discharge the CRT safely with one hand behind my back, because even though it was off for 24 hours, better safe than dead. And that's where we'll have to leave part 1 for today. My soldering iron is currently warming up because I'm going to decap that entire analog board. It's just covered in brown gunk. Just all over, even on the back somehow. So hopefully something important hasn't corroded away. So hopefully, once this board is recapped electrically, that should be the last thing I need to do, and the computer should boot at least into ROM. So in part 2, we'll double check to see if the eject mechanism on the floppy drive works, and we will also see about maybe retro-brighting it? Never know, it could be cool. I also need to buy a mouse, so I'll get on that as well. Thanks for watching part 1 of this very frustrating Macintosh Classic restoration. See you next time.